you really wanting to grow your mindset? Maybe you're in a same way of thinking. You're like, I don't like my thoughts. They're really struggling. They're not serving me. Well, today we're going to talk about how you can really develop a growth mindset. And if you stay until the end, I've got something special to share with you then as well. Now, just before we dive in today, I wanted to mention that if you want to stay up to date with all the episodes to boost your self esteem and confidence and get an extra tip each week, all you got to do is click in the link in the show notes below to make sure you're up to speed and you can really boost your self confidence. Okay, so developing a growth mindset. This is like being one that I've I've definitely developed in the last few years. And in particular, it's really tested me in the last couple of years because a lot of challenges have come, and it's been quite easy for me to go into the what they call the victim mentality of like, oh, life's happening to me, all these situations. And I'm going to be honest, like now and then I've been caught in it. I've been able to pull myself back into this, like, I'm empowered to create my own life because I genuinely believe that. I believe we create quite a lot of our own circumstances. Just like, I won't go into the spiritual side, but our vibration, our frequency. Actually, when you start writing down, like, you're in a good mood and all the good things that start showing up, it's not just a coincidence. I don't believe. I believe there's some kind of frequency, and okay, we won't go down the whole science rabbit hole today and the things I've recently been studying, but I believe that, like, when I've been stuck in those situations, it just doesn't do me any favors of like, oh, this has happened to me. And I used to be really bad at this through my 20s. Like, I didn't get that job. Oh, everyone hates me. I'm never going to get a job. And I just like kept making myself miserable, right? Instead of like, all right, what can I do to grow? Or like, oh, like, it didn't work out with me and that girl. Oh, it's so difficult. Dang. Oh, look, I'm going to be alone forever. That kind of thing. And yeah, it's very, very easy to go into that situation when something bad's happened. Maybe you can relate, right? Like, something's just not gone your way and you get stuck in this mindset of like, oh, it's all right for everyone else and all that kind of thing. And it just doesn't feel good. Yet it's just a sense of you want. Like, if you're anything like me, oh well, kind of, this is how I got it. I kind of wanted people to feel sorry for me, so I had that connection, right? Crazy, I know, but like, it's funny how the human mind works, right? Anyway, I wanted to really talk about growth mindset as well. Okay, so how's it helping you by perhaps being fixed in a certain mindset where you're like, oh, it's just really hard, I'm really struggling, things are really tough. Well, if you're anything like me, it does not feel good. So let's go into some points that I wanted to share with you that have really helped me grow my mindset. Okay. Um, and when I say mindset, what I mean is kind of thoughts and attitudes and behaviors in life. And that's often comes from our psychology, in terms of our thoughts consciously and subconsciously, which are the words and pictures in our head that we're constantly feeding. So actually, that has a huge role on your mindset. Okay, but it all starts with mindset. You've got to have the right attitude that you want to improve your life. So let's go into a few points that really have helped me develop a growth mindset. The first one, embrace challenges. Now, you could use the word problem or you could use the word challenge. Which one sounds more empowering and like you're growing? Well, for me, the word challenge does, definitely. So embrace challenges. Say, don't be like, oh, I, I'm going to do a Tony Robbins quote right now. I love doing a Tony Robbins quote. He says, the biggest problem we have is that we think we shouldn't have problems. And actually, problems are a gift of life and they help us grow. Now, sometimes when you're in them, of course, it does not feel like that. And then he started using and he talks about the word challenge. So yeah, there's going to be tough ones, but if you can start seeing actually this is an opportunity for me to grow, it can really help. And I'll give you an example. I went through a real tough time and sort of like both in dating, sort of relationships in 2022, 2023. And luckily I'd gone through all this kind of work on myself. So I could kind of see that it was an opportunity to grow. Of course, it felt horrible in the moment, like really tough. And I had my coach, I had people around me to help me get through that. And Yeah, it's like, if I'm totally honest with you, now and then it can kind of crop up, and because it kind of was a really tough situation in one of them. But like, actually me seeing that it's an opportunity for growth for the next amazing, wonderful girl I meet, it's really made me feel more empowered. So if you see challenges as an opportunity to grow, that can really help mindset. The second point I want to share is celebrate your effort, not just the outcome. Not like when I hit a certain result. I talked about one of my favorite books in the podcast the other day, and called Atomic Habits. And the great thing about that is you're just focusing on what you have to do every day. You have an outcome, you have like a direction, you know where you want to go. And it's all about celebrating what you're doing every day, these small habits, and getting really, really excited. My mentor talks about this all the time. You've got to praise, you to be yes, you've got to celebrate every single day, right? So celebrate your effort, because that's really going to encourage you to do more of something. Okay. The third one is redefine failure. Often when we're like, oh, I tried that and I messed up. Well, first of all, I want to say this. If you're doing something and you're just like, it's draining your energy and you really don't feel it, as a sense of like it's not aligned, then that's probably an opportunity to see if it's right for your life. But if you're honest with yourself and you're like, yeah, this is really hard, and I'm not doing so well, and I've been there. Like I've worked in like project management and I work in sales, right? There can be spells when it's just not going so well. And then I have to like step back and be like, okay, this is an opportunity to grow and learn. How can I help these people better? How can I show up more authentically and really like serve them? How can I build my confidence and my certainty in this? So if you look at redefining failure as a time to learn and grow, that can be a real benefit as well. The fourth one is self-compassion. This is something neglected by so many people. Me guilty. I'm guilty of this so many times, right? Um, of just being like, oh, you got to work, and not actually having that compassion for like what I have done, or maybe I'm not feeling so good. I've been through periods when I've just been exhausted, like that kind of hard situation, like in dating and relationship. I was absolutely exhausted, and then I was like trying to work and do stuff, and I was like, this is hard. You know what I mean? I need to step back and make things as easy as possible right now, rather than this work, hustle, hustle, hustle. And it really helped me with my mindset, because I was able to be more compassionate and loving to me, and therefore give me the space, and therefore I was able to be more consistent when I got back to my work, rather than being too exhausted. Now, personally, I don't necessarily buy too much into the idea of burnout. I do believe that you can overwork, but like, I think it's about understanding yourself and your body, um, where you are, and then being compassionate with yourself. And then the fifth one is a sense of purpose, not just doing something because you see someone. And I've been guilty of this again. Like these are my lessons, right? Seeing someone on Instagram and you're like, wow, that's amazing. They got a jet, they got a boat. Okay, they got that by doing trading. And then you're like, okay, I better do trading. And then you're like, or maybe it's like doing a certain coaching business and you didn't really want to be a coach, but you see someone doing really well. Well, find your sense of purpose, find something that's really going to be purposeful for you. And I'm going to be honest, this does take a lot of practice, and it's something I'm always working on as well, trying to get more purpose. You may need to go out there and experiment with different things. Now, that's not saying go in and spend thousands and thousands and thousands of things. It's just about going out and trying different hobbies. Maybe you try a bit of writing. You try a bit of like, so just things that you're curious about. Like, if writing's not even curious to you, don't write, right? Just do something for you that's like, that sounds interesting. But that'll help you develop a sense of purpose. And often purpose comes from things you've been challenged by and overcome as well. So that's really helpful for a growth mindset as well. Now, I've got a final point I want to share with you. And just before we go on to that, I want to mention again that if you never want to miss an episode of this podcast, make sure you join the newsletter link below, where I'm going to give you a weekly insight to grow your self-confidence, self-esteem, and mindset. So find that in the show notes below. Okay, so my bonus point or final point I want to share with you is surrounding yourself with growth-minded people. Surround yourself with people with fixed mindset, don't have beliefs, who have certain beliefs. You're going to adapt to your environment every single time. Now, I love talking to people into personal growth. I get so much energy and it really lights me up. Now, I've got friends who aren't so much into that, and that's great. It's completely up to them. But sometimes when I'm telling them a concept of something I believed in or learned, they just won't buy into it. And that's okay. They're on their own journey. You can't force anyone to change. Yet, if you've got people doubting what you're saying and bringing you, not necessarily intentionally bringing you down, they could be good people. They just got their own views. There can be obviously some toxic people, but I'm very fortunate that I'm in that stage of life where I know who to include and not to include in my life in terms of that. But like, if you're people constantly doubting what you're saying, you will still soon adapt to that. You soon be like, maybe what I'm saying is not true. Maybe what they're saying is true, because you are the sum of your environment. So that's what I'd say as well. Surround yourself, even if it's online, with people who are growth minded as much as possible. So I appreciate you for being here. You're improving your and other people's lives by being the best you. And remember, you are in control of your own self-esteem and confidence.